Okay. Alright, come. Let's sit down and start. I wasn't sure what topic to speak about, so I would just speak about what I learned at nighttime.
What's the topic?
Wrong Shulchan Aruch. Can you get me a second? Choshen Mishpat Shin Mem Chet. Just the next one, Dalet. Choshen Mishpat Dalet. You see Dalet's right there. Right there. You're looking at down. That one, Dalet. Yeah, that one. Yeah, right there. You just had your finger on it. The one to the right. Yeah. Thank you. Tov, let's start. It says, Asur lignov afilu kol shu. It's asur to steal even a penny, anything. Even if a person would steal a pencil or a penny or anything that would belong to someone else and you would take it without their permission. Afilu kol shu din Toran. On a doraita level, even kol shu. Right? Asur lignov afilu derech schok. Even if you're stealing as a joke, you're not allowed to steal. Right? Say you want to steal something as a joke. You want to take your friend's car keys, you want to take his car, you want to disappear. He's going to wake up in the morning and where's my car? As you just played a prank on him. Even so, it's still asur to steal even like that. Even if you're stealing in order to give it back, that's also considered stealing. We need to say stealing is not only when I'm taking something with the intention of never giving it back. Stealing is even if I'm taking it with the intention of giving it back. Right? Say for example, I don't know, you have a bike, right? And I take it without your permission. Shalom Edat is a gazlan. You take something without permission, you're considered a thief. You take it, you don't take it to steal it. You're taking it thinking I'm going to give it back next week. The guy for now is going to go look for it. I don't want to tell him because, if I tell him, he's never going to let me use it. I'm going to take it for a week, he's not going to know what happened to it. By the time he decides, I'll bring it back already by then. You're not allowed, right? Even if your intention is to give it back, you're not allowed, right? In the times of the Beit Din, a long time ago, today we don't have this dinim so much. The Shulchan Aruch in Hilchos Dayanim, in the beginning of Choshen Mishpat says we don't do dinei kenasot. The Beit Din today, they don't take cases where they do kenasot, fines. For example, if I steal something from you, right, and then I get caught, right, they catch me, I have to pay double. Knas, fine, penalty, I have to pay double, right? So this double penalty today we don't do. But you can't. If I go and find someone who stole something based on tech, we can't pay double the knas penalty. They don't do. We don't dan dinei knasot. We don't have smuchin because the smicha that we have now is not the real original smicha that's necessary in order to dan dinei knasot.
How do I pay the punishment? How do we pay the punishment?
You just pay what you stole.
Mm-hmm. That's it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the Bedin today cannot make you pay double.
No. But if the person feels entitled and privileged to double, and he takes it, and then he says, I'm not giving it back, the Beis Din can't take it away either.
Can the guy who stole, can he still give back the double just to absolve his sin?
He could if he wants to. But it doesn't have, the Beis Din doesn't deal with it. You want to give it, you could give it.
Give more.
You could give more. I'm telling you even more. Say if you stole something from me, right? Say you stole $100 from me. Not $100. Say you stole an item from me. Say you stole an item from me, and that's it. You went and you sold it. Now I'm going to come to you. I'm going to say, where is my
a watch, for example.
gun? Yeah, my watch. So you have to pay me back. How much? $15,000, right? So I take from you $30,000, right? Double, knas. So that extra amount that I took away from you, even though the Beis Din doesn't deal with this type of knasot, it would be very hard for the Beis Din even to take that extra 15 that I took away from you without your permission to give it back to you. Because din Torah, there is kanas. It's just that we don't deal with it, right? But whatever it might be. It's in any cases like that. The Shulchan Aruch writes in Siman Daled, right? In cases of when you steal something back from me, say for example, if you steal something from me and I can't prove it. You steal something from me with a place with no cameras, for example, a watch, right? I take off the watch, I put it next to myself, I put my head down to go to sleep, I wake up, I see, you put on my watch. And I tell you, give me my watch. I say, what you're talking about, it's my watch. So how am I going to prove it now? So simani, what simani I want to watch? If you're right. If you really have a siman and you have a document at home proving the serial number, and I can take you to Beis Din and prove it's mine, you're right. You can take it to Beis Din and take it back. But if I have no way of proving it, there's no way of proving it. I have no evidence, no nothing. It's either I take it from you now, or I can never get it again. What do I do? Even if I take it to Beis Din, I have no proof. They're not going to make him swear. I have no proof. Generally, by tangible items, whoever's holding onto it, we assume he's the owner. I tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no witnesses, no cameras, no nothing. There, the Shulchan Aruch says, if I have no other way of getting it, I can even take it away from you with force at the moment. I could use force at the moment. If I have alternative ways of getting it, I'm not allowed to use force. But if I don't have alternative ways of getting it from you, and I know I'm going to lose out on it, and you're stealing it from me right now at the moment...
So it's allowed to take it by force, at that moment. Alright, so?
Right, that's whatever it is. Tov.
That's nice.
To say if I want to steal something from you in order to give you pain, to give you anguish. Also asur, not allowed. Right? Why? That you shouldn't get yourself accustomed to stealing. A person is not allowed to get accustomed to stealing. Not only that, if I stole something from you and I sold it, now I have to pay you back. And you're going to come to me and now you want to get payment back. I don't have money to pay you. I don't have anything to pay you. I have to pay you for my real estate. Right? What real estate? Say if I have a property somewhere in Saratoga that's worth $50,000. I have a property in Jamaica State that's worth $50 million. Right? Which property are you going to collect from? I cannot go and tell you go take the property from Saratoga. Why? You have to pay me back from the top quality property that you have. A person that's a thief, if he comes back to take his money, you have to pay him from the top quality. You can't tell him, Chai, go and take over there a property in upstate New York that's worth a bungalow colony over there. Go take your $30,000, I'll give you the bungalow colony instead. I said,
Quality.
I want the best you have. Right? The Ganav is Meshalem Idit. He pays from the best that he has. Now, that's that halacha. The next halacha that we're going to learn is also very applicable on an everyday basis. I get questions on this all the time. Right? Kol hagonev, if a person steals even something that's worth a shave pruta, right? Even something that's worth a few pennies, right? Over alav de lo tegnovu. It's over on the isser of lo tegnovu. Chayav leshalem, and you're obligated to pay the person back. Chayav, you're obligated to pay the person back that you stole from. Now, many people think that stealing means I just take something away from you. But there's a lot of different ways of forms of stealing, right? According to the poskim say even ribit is gezel, right? Ribit is also gezel. The poskim also say that even ona'ah is gezel, right? I rip you off, right? Say there is a item. What today is really not so simple that we have ona'ah so much, right? Say for example, during the time of Chazal, there was set market for different things. For example, if everybody charges $10 for a haircut, everybody in the city, everybody charges $10 for a haircut. That's a set rate, that's a set market. Suddenly somebody from out of town came, he went to a barbershop, this guy saw that he didn't know anything, he told him $50, right? He said, $50, didn't have no choice, you need a haircut, you pay him $50. He comes out, yes, he comes out and he sees everybody charges $10, right? Why is he charging $50? He gypped him. Apidin, you would be able to take him to Beis Din, tell him, Alio, give me back the difference.
Justify, I'm a better.
If that's your price,
yes,
and you're charging for an expertise that nobody has, you're right. But you didn't. You really charge like everybody else. That's the normal market rate.
Значи се контракт in relation. Один
Right.
шел ставит за $100, другой шел ставит за $500.
So today,
$100, другой пломбер $500.
so it's also when it comes to plumbers, there's a different rates for you're paying for people. You compare licensed plumbers to not licensed plumbers. That's one. You cannot say, hey, not licensed plumber charge $100,
Right.
licensed plumber charge. It's two different fields. And like today in Hilchos Ona'ah, it's very hard to know when there's Ona'ah, when there's no Ona'ah, because the Rav Asher Weiss says today there's no Ona'ah in the market, that type of a market that we live in. Not everybody agrees to that. It's a very big chiddush, right? But even in the cases of Ona'ah, would also consist of gezel, and therefore you would have to give it back, right? Even in a case where I want to sell you an item that's blemished. Say I have something that's blemished, something's wrong with it, but I'm hiding it from you, I don't want to tell you anything. Right? Say for example a car. Right? I sell you a car, I tell you everything is checked, everything's good, and I know that there's a blemish in here that's very hard to find. Only a certain type of mechanic could find it. I know in a month or two you're going to figure it out. But right now I want to sell it to you, right? Allowed to do that, that's ona'ah. If the guy finds that this car was messed up afterwards and you knew, and he comes back to us, listen, this car had a problem, you sold me a broken car, you can't tell him too bad. Pi halacha, the deal is nullified. You must
Tell him all the
give him back.
with the car or the watch or whatever.
Yeah,
that
before,
he buys it,
disclosure.
that's already on him.
That's already on him.
different.
Yes, but I'm talking about when you know and you're hiding something. You're not allowed to do that.
But what about if you sell to Goy, the same thing?
What?
If it's you sell this to Goy.
By this particular type, yes, it is the same thing. Overcharging, there's no ana abagoy. By selling a defective item and hiding it from him, if you're selling a defective item and hiding it from him, that you're not allowed. However, you're allowed to tell a guy, listen, I'm relying on you and your expertise. I leave it to you, check it, you do whatever you want. Right? He says, it's okay, whatever it is, I'll take it. That's what his problem. For example, somebody told me he went on the auction. Somebody went on the auction and he bid out a property, he bought a property. After he bought a property, he came, he saw this property once upon a time had very bad gas seepage into the property. You're not allowed to build anything on this property. You need to pay a certain company a few $100,000 to dig out the ground like tons of feet and throw out all the dirt and replace everything. He told me he didn't know. You can't do anything on this property. He asked me if he's allowed to flip it to another person who's a Jew. Whether you're not to flip it without hiding, without telling. And he said that guy can never find out. The only way you could find out is special people come and check the property. An ordinary person will never know. Right? What? No, not allowed. I told him you must tell him. You must tell him you're not allowed to hide such a defect. Right? That's also considered Genivan, Gezelah, you're not allowed to hide such a defect.
Yeah, as long as you say, I'm relying on you.
You tell him, listen, make sure you check the property with every inspector. Tell him, check the environmental, check this, check everything. Because this property, has its issues and you find out everything for yourself.
You don't have to give him the details, basically.
You could tell him more or less the details, you tell him to find out himself. You can't hide it from him. You can't tell him everything is perfect. That's usher. Yes, that's true. You can't hide it from him. You can't hide it. You have to tell him very clearly that you left it fully up to him to find out everything. That after he's said and done, say, listen, the guy told me to check it. It was my fault. I didn't check it. But he says, oh, the guy didn't tell me anything. He messed me over. That's usher. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. Right? To sell a defective item is the same thing by going to Jew. You must let him know. Right? But you can tell him, I'm relying on you. You make sure you do all your research before. Right? So that's that. Right? Even if a person steals from a Jew, or a person steals from a Goy, it's the same thing. It's an Issa Doraisa according to the Shulchan Aruch to steal from a Goy. Now you steal money from a Goy, it's Issa Doraita. Just like you would steal from a Jew, you're stealing from a Goy. Right? The Shach, however, learns that it's an Issa Dorabanan, but we don't hold like that. We hold that it's an Issa Doraisa. Right? We hold that it's an Issa Doraisa. Tough. Say, for example, if you want to go and you have a non-Jew, right, a worker, whatever it might be, stealing from him is asur just like stealing from a Jew. Both prohibited on an Issa Doraita level. Everything we just mentioned, right? I want to steal it in order to use it and then give it back in a week later. You're not allowed to do that, right? Even if you steal from a child, it's an Issa of Gedeva Gezilah, right? Somebody asked me, is a rabbi in a class allowed to take away something from a child and throw it out, tell them that's it, no more? Based on this, you're not allowed. Why? You're not allowed to steal from a child. Even a child you cannot take from. He's sitting with a child, and I don't know, you decided you want bubble gum, you take the child's bubble gum and you eat it. It's also Geneva Gezidah, right? You're not allowed, right? The child is still... Now this next halacha is a very, very, very important halacha. 99.99 question, 99.99 of all the questions percent come here, right? Yeah. What is this? Ta'ut akum. When it comes to taxes, paying taxes. When it comes to a guy making a mistake at a cash register, he realized that he made a mistake. You have to tell him. When it comes to cash advance, right? And you're fooling him. When it comes to
lending the money.
What would be a good case of Ta'ut Akum? The case of the Gemara is that a goy came to Shmuel. There's a machlokes how to learn this Gemara. A goy came to Shmuel and he sold him gold. He sold him copper. And the goy didn't know that this copper has gold inside. Right? And it was really worth a lot more money than what he wanted. He wanted 4 gold coins. Right? And Shmuel looked at it, and Shmuel, he knew that this had gold inside. The goy didn't realize. So what did Shmuel do? While Shmuel was paying him, he threw in an extra gold coin, as if he threw it in by mistake. So this way the guy would think, wow, the Jew made a mistake. He put extra money here. Let me take the money and leave quickly. Shmuel wanted him to leave quickly to make the transaction quicker. So he threw an extra money in there like he made a mistake. So this guy would think, oh, Let me take it and leave before he realizes he's making a mistake, right? So what did Shmuel do? Shmuel fooled him, right? He said the Chacham fooled him and he took the actual coin and he left. So that's okay, right? They took that. Why? He was matem, he gave it to him. The goy, why? Because they say when the goy made a mistake on his own, it's okay.
Because he on his own.
On his own. But for example, if you went to a store, right? You went to a store, you gave him $10 bill, he told you gave him $100. He gave you change for $100. The whole store is owned by goyim. Afi halacha, you don't have to say anything, right? Lechatchila, you could say, have a good day and walk away.
But if the Jew,
that's for sure, right? But if you know there's going to be Chilul Hashem, he's going to realize, hey, what happened? He's look in the camera, then you must say. Why Chilul Hashem, you must say, right? Or if you know there's going to be Kiddush Hashem, right? You know, if I'm going to go back to this guy, is going to be big Kiddush Hashem, a lot of Jews going to come for now, and he's going to like all the Jews over here. Also mitzvah, you must do it, right? You must do Kiddush Hashem, but you know there's not going to be no Chilul Hashem, no Kiddush Hashem, it's asur for you to give it back. Why? Because it's Hashavat Avidah. You're not allowed to return an Avidah to a goy. Not unless it's Kiddush Hashem. What?
Kiddush Hashem, you have to give it back?
Yes. No, you must give it back Kiddush Hashem. But it's not always the Kiddush Hashem. It's not always the Kiddush Hashem. Sometimes they don't care. This has happened to me before a few times. They go to the store, they give me change. Yes.
If somebody walks in front of me in a train and they drop a watch,
yeah,
a goy. Now no one, no Jewish.
Enjoy it.
Basically, what you're saying, enjoy it.
You're not allowed to return an Avedah to a goy, not unless there's a Kiddush Hashem or Chilul Hashem.
Sometimes Rabbi, if you know who is lost it, you have to return.
Only a Yid.
Only Jewish? What's it, Jewish? Yeah, only Jewish.
Hashavat Avedah, returning a lost object, only applies.
To Master Hashem.
No, it depends how bad he is. If he's Mamash or Rasha, like he has a criteria of a goy, it's a different story. Right, but it's very hard to find somebody. It's very hard to find somebody. Yeah, it's very hard to find somebody under that category. So easily, you have to return it back.
First of all, he's Jewish, but he never show up. He's Jewish. I mean, no keeper, no way. He's Jewish.
But
he's Jewish.
To give it back.
Rabbi, so it's asur to give back?
To a goy, it's asur to give back Hashavat Avedah. Correct? Yes.
What's Avedah?
A lost object. If a goy lost an object, then Allah should just give it back. There must be Kiddush Hashem and Chilul Hashem. Lo yaveh Hashem selo achlo, the pasuk says. So, this is it is. Hifkirim amonah, the Gemara says their mammon is like hefker. Once they lost it, they lost it.
For example, he sells same product like me.
Yes.
But this day he's not coming on the wall, and his customer come to me and ask him. And I said he's not here. I don't know. His store closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed
Yes.
to sell him and make my customer.
Yes, because they choice.
If he's coming to you on his own and he wants to buy from you on his own, it's okay. But if you're trying to steal him, you're not allowed.
Yeah. If you try steal, not allowed.
Steal.
There's such thing.
Of course. Tell him. If he comes to you and says, I want to buy, you have this watch, I want to buy it from you, you're allowed to show it to him. But if he's not even asking you, just asking you where is him, tell him what do you need from him. I can give you the same thing. How much you want to pay? You're trying to already. That already is a problem. It's not nice. I know, but
Они тебе же дают продукт продать, и тебе же мочат.
That's true, but it's still not the right thing. The truth is, even in such a case scenario, when he's asking you, where is this person? It's always best to do the right thing. And you know deep down inside, anything that you wouldn't like people do to you, don't do to anybody else. Why? It's always best, to build your business on honesty and integrity. At the end of the day, the money that you're going to make is going to come to you.
It's not kosher. It's not going to
Even if you think you're going to make a money like this, at the end of the day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take it away from somewhere else. Why? Because if this person finds out what you did, he's going to get very angry. And the fact that somebody is going to be very upset at you in of itself is already going to cause you a lot of problems in life. You're already losing. Right?
Because their kavanah goes on you.
Yes. You're already losing. Why? You do everything with Darchei Shalom. What are you worried about? Money is going to come to you. The Ben Ish Chai says if it's decreed on a person to make money, even if he runs away from it, he's going to make money. The Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai brings that if a person is decreed to make money, he brings a story that even if a person, he says one guy was very rich, the Ben Ish Chai says, he wanted to take Ayin Hara away from him. So what did he do? He wanted to make a very big investment. He wanted to invest in something very bad. and then he wanted to resell it at a tremendous loss. Everybody thinks, wow, this guy lost so much money just to take away attention from him. At the end of the day, he bought it, and right after he bought it, the market for this went up. He made triple the amount of money. Why? The Venice Chai says, if you're meant to make the money, no matter what you touch, you're going to make the money. Right? If you're not meant to make it, you're not meant to make it. So what's the point of making it on the account of somebody else or something else? You're never gonna get anything with that.
But another way, I know he's Jewish.
Yes.
But he's never go synagogue, never pay attention, anything. And like I said, he closed and his customer come to me.
Invite him to come to your store every day
And
to learn with you.
And I still, like you said, customer. But I know this guy never paid tzedakah, anything, and I took this profit and put it to the yeshiva. This I allowed?
No.
You're allowed to, but it's not the right mentality.
Just because you got it,
It's not the right mentality.
Just because you give it to the car doesn't mean
Anything. That's true. Rav Shimshon Pincus writes that if a person makes money in a non-kosher way, and then he takes that money and he buys something in shul, that memory that he puts in the shul is going to remind of Hashem every single day what kind of rasha he is, and it's going to bring judgment on a person, not zechut on a person.
Yeah, but it's just some people think like that. I steal and I do donation.
Right, HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates gezel. Any money that you bring stolen is not kosher money. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want to see it.
Even yeshiva, when you bring the kids.
It's stolen money. If your money is not kosher money and you're paying for yeshiva, right? What you're doing is all the money that's going into your child's neshama is contaminating him.
Yes.
Okay,
even if you're using non-kosher money to buy food and you're feeding your children with it, it contaminates their souls.
What about Yom Kippur?
What about Yom Kippur?
People doesn't come all year round, and Yom Kippur they come and they buy big barachas.
So let them buy. What do you care?
No, but like you said, this is money.
How do you know where
keep
the money is
Shabbat,
coming?
No anything.
No, that's one thing is another. I'm talking about the money itself is not kosher. How do you know his money is not kosher?
Yeah,
Well,
how are we gonna find
How you earned it?
That it's done in the right way, the kosher way. He's not stealing, he's not cheating, he's not ripping people off. He's not telling people this is a VS1 D diamond and it's really a G and SI1 and he's fooling people and people don't know this type of thing. You know, some people are crooks.
If he doesn't know Allah,
So bad for him. He should have learned.
if he make money all year like this,
It doesn't
he's
make
coming
exception.
and buy
You don't have to assume a person's money is not kosher unless you know it's
No,
not kosher.
I know, but you see, we don't know.
There are Gedolim, a lot of Gedolim, they were very makpid, never to take money from somebody that his money was not kosher to use for yeshivot. There was a story from one of the Gedolim, one very wealthy guy, his money was not kosher at all. He worked on Shabbat all the time, he wanted to make a big donation to the yeshiva. The rabbi said, this money I'm not putting in my yeshiva.
For the toilet paper.
Why? Because it's going to only bring tumah to the yeshiva.
Yes. Shoes also.
Kosher money has blessing. The Kaveh Yashar writes, even if you have one nail in your house that you did, and that nail came from non-kosher money, stolen money, he says, until you don't get that nail in your house, all your tefillot won't be answered, he writes.
Yes.
In the house or in the shul?
Anywhere.
The energy is bad.
The energy is bad. Energy is bad. Right? So, ta'ot akum, right? For example, you want to fool a goy, la'atoto b'cheshbon, right? Say if you want to fool a goy b'cheshbon, you're dealing with him, and you want to fool him monetarily, so there's two different opinions over here in the Raman. The first opinion in the Raman, the Ashkenazi posik says, you're allowed to fool him purposely, right? For example, when you're counting the money, right, you're allowed to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're giving it to him, right? You made a mistake, you fooled him by $100, and he didn't realize, right? The Ramah says, the first opinion the Ramah says, by an akum, by goy is mutar. First opinion in the Ramah. Right, this is what everybody relies on when it comes to what? Olafki halva'ato mutar. Right? Also, if you have a loan from a goy, and you have a way to get yourself out of it. According to the first opinion in the Ramah's mutar, as long as he doesn't know that there's no chilul Hashem. Right? As long as he doesn't know there's no chilul Hashem. For example, if you took money from the goy, and 5 years later he says, I don't remember if I paid you or not. I'm not sure. Whatever you say. And the goy says, you know what, I think you did pay me, and you know you didn't pay him. Mutar, avoid it. Right, don't have to pay him. By Yid, such a thing would be asur. By Goy, the first opinion of the Ramah says, it's mutar. Even to go out and physically fool him, according to the first opinion in the Ramah, it's mutar. According to the second opinion in the Ramah, he says you're not allowed to fool him. If he fools himself, you're allowed to keep it, like the case that we brought before. Right, if you made a mistake in calculation, for example, somebody was supposed to charge you tax. He's supposed to charge you $18,000 tax. He accidentally miscalculated, charge you $7,000 tax. his problem, his mistake. You don't need to tell him, right? But if you want to go ahead and create a situation, for example, you bought a car for $20,000, right? You don't want to pay so much tax. You say, I'm going to write $10,000, right? You're fooling him, right? So now you're going to pay less. Are you allowed to do that or not? That the first opinion says yes, the second opinion says no.
Even to goyim?
Halacha l'maaseh, ask your personal rabbi quietly, in person. Every case is different, not on camera. No, the truth is, it's a problem. It is a problem. The Bir Hagola writes over here. He says that what? He says that I know many people. He says I know many people that were in business, right? Rabbi Megidolim. He says many people that were in business and they became very rich by fooling goyim, and at the end they were not successful financially, and they always had a lot of losses in business. He says not only that, they never had any bracha. And he says Sefer Hasidim writes that what? There are many people that did Kiddush Hashem and they were very honest in business, even with goyim. He said such people I saw, they became very wealthy, very successful, and they even were able to leave that wealth to their children. Honesty is always the proper way of building wealth with blessing. Why? You will make $1 million a year instead of $2 million a year, but that $1 million a year will give you a life like $3 million a year. You will make $2 million a year, but if you have no bracha, it's like $200,000 a year. Why? Always problems. Kids always spending too much money, wife spending too much money, mortgage, this one penalty, this one court, this one broke, this one that, this one didn't pay him, this one took money, never gave it back, this one this one that. Always problems. Why? No bracha in the money.
Only be in the first opinion if there's no chilul Hashem.
Yes.
Rabbi, one question. For example, I borrowed him $100.
Yes.
And I paid him. But
Yes.
he forgot, not forgot like purpose. He forgot. And he asked me like this, Rafael, did you pay me $100? And I don't have proof to pay him.
Do you know he didn't pay you?
No, I returned him back.
Yeah.
I owed from him $100.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I returned him back, but he forgot.
But you know, tell him I paid you.
But he said, did you pay me?
So
And
yeah.
I don't remember. I tried to explain to
No,
him.
if you know for sure that you paid and he's not sure, halacha is...
I don't have
No. If you say yes, I paid, and he says I don't know, the halacha is we go with you. That means you paid. Because Shema V'Bari, I'm sure I paid you. You're not sure I didn't pay you. If we're in conflict that I'm saying yes, you're saying no, it's a different halacha. But we're not in conflict. I'm asking you, did I pay you back? You say, I don't know. I said, okay, I know I paid you back. It's fine. We rely on the guy who knows.
But if you both don't know,
You both don't know, then you have to come to some middle ground. Either you could pay him half of what you owe him, or either you make some arrangements between yourself. Arrange it amongst yourself, whatever they decide.
But I want to clean myself to do not he thinking something. I pay him again $100, and I said, this is proof. That's the next time. Don't ask me. Better like this.
If that's what you guys agree on, because Api Halacha, you're not chayav to pay him. If I know I paid somebody, I don't have to pay
I
him.
don't pay him. He still, I know. Maybe I feel inside. He thinking I'm not paying him. But better I pay him $100 and say, listen, take this money. That's it. This proof. Don't ask me anymore. It's better to do like this.
Tell him, listen, if I paid you, this is for you a gift. If I didn't pay you, this is for your payment. That's it.
But I don't want something happening bad with him.
No. Nothing's gonna happen to anybody. Don't worry. Nothing happen to anybody. Right? Yeah. So you have to be careful with these cases. A lot of these halachot they come up. When. Okay, here he has already a different case. This is a very extreme case. I don't want to get too technical, but a lot of these halachot they come up when it comes to taxes and all these different types of things, right? These are all these. A lot of these halachot always come up over there, right? These are the main areas, or Medicaid, insurances, all these different cases come up over there. What?
government is different. If the government is paying,
It really depends. Every situation is different. You have to ask your Rav in every situation. Amen. You have to ask your Rav in every situation. But for sure, if a guy came to you and he's your customer, and he bought something from you and he accidentally overpaid you, right? He accidentally overpaid you, right? He accidentally overpaid you and nobody realized, you could leave it alone, right? You could leave it alone. It's not a problem, right? Or if you sold a Schwarzer or something, 10 diamonds, right? Accidentally he left one on the counter and he left. L'shol. He comes back an hour later, says, "Did you see the diamond?" If you forgot it there and you left it there and you left, if you know there's no Kiddush Hashem, no Kiddush Hashem, right? It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. I'm sure you all know what that means. Let's go on. Ezu ganav. Who's considered a ganav? Halokech man adam setin. Right? Somebody that there's a ganav and there's gazlan. Ganav is somebody that steals quietly. Nobody should know. Nobody should see. Right? But a gazlan is somebody that steals out in public. He comes to you in your face. He takes it from you. Right? Doesn't care. Openly. He doesn't care. Right? He comes to your house and just takes it and leaves. He knows everybody could find him on camera, see him, it doesn't make a difference. Now, when does a person thief? When is a person when he steals considered a thief? From the moment that he takes it and you took it into a different property, or the moment that you take it and you picked it up, you did hagba'ah, you did some sort of a kinyan. But if it's just in the person's property, if I go to somebody's house and I'm pushing his couch, if I'm pushing his couch in his house, right, and I'm trying to steal it, as long as I didn't pick it up or I didn't take it out of his property, right, it's not considered a kinyan. It's going to make a very big difference in the cases that we're going to see in the Shulchan Aruch later on. If I helped you rob somebody, who's going to pay? Right, I helped you steal something. I'm standing outside, you're taking stuff, throwing it out the window, right? I'm picking and filling in the car. And then afterwards, I find out that these two guys robbed me. Who's going to pay?
The one who helped also.
It depends. It depends who made the kinyan. It depends if he could have done it without him. It depends on a few different things. Right? But if once I bring something into my property or something comes into my property, automatically at that moment it's considered like the stealing was activated, and I'm already obligated on all the responsibilities over here.
Someone lifting, let's say, furniture in your home, like
as long as it's still in your property, it's fine.
What?
Lifting it, let's say,
If you mamash lifted the whole thing, yes.
Or the whole thing.
It was on your property.
What?
Still.
Hagba'an on different property works. For example, if I come and I take glasses and do hagba'an, that works on a different property. Mishicha doesn't work. No, anything. No, for sure it doesn't become yours. Yeah, no, it doesn't become yours. If I steal something, it doesn't become mine. But I become a gazlan. When am I considered an official thief? Once I make that kinyan, I'm considered official thief. Even though Be'etzim is not mine, but since I did a master kinyan, I become a thief.
But you can take it, it's no problem.
No, why is no problem? You're stealing. We're just telling you when you considered a thief. At one point are you considered, if I came to somebody's house, I'm dragging his couch out of his house. Halfway through I say, you know what? Forget about it. I left. Was I considered a ganav? Was I over geneva or no? No, why? Because I didn't make the kinyan yet. Might have been the wrong thing. But if I made hagba'an and then I said, you don't want to return it, so I did the geneva, but I also did the lav anita klase, also returned it. So I fixed the geneva, but I still did the aviran, I did the tshuva. But here I never did the aviraf, I never made the kinyan, I never made the gizilah. That's the difference, right? Now, I'm just going to read Shulchan Aruch, we'll get to the cases, and then afterwards I want to do a little bit musar from the Chafetz Chaim about the importance of living simply and not over-luxuriating your life above your abilities in order to create certain impressions which bring a person tremendous issues in life.
So let me ask.
Go ahead.
So he had an intention to steal, right?
Yes.
So, but he didn't take out the.
Yeah.
So intention to steal it doesn't.
It's already violation.
So the intention to steal depends. The Gemara says a bad intention, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't mitzaref it l'ma'asen. If a person has a bad intention, HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't put it on your account as if you did it, not unless you did it more than 3 times, then it's something that you do all the time, then even if you just had the bad intention, you get punished for the bad intention. But the Maaseh Geneva you didn't do.
I come to this across a lot of time. In community, I buy a house. Now the house worth double. Why? Because it's R7 zoning. But they don't know it's a single family home. I don't tell them anything. I buy as a regular price for $1 million. But it's R7. I know once I buy it, I could sell it for double. But they don't know. Is that considered stealing?
Goyim?
Sometimes Jewish, sometimes Goyim. I buy it, Jewish. Okay, you want to sell for how much? 1 million? I know it's 2 million, but they
A
don't know
goy you
that.
don't need to tell because that's hilchot ona'ah.
But they agree, they say thank you for buying for $1 million.
A goy you don't need to tell because by that type of ona'ah, by a goy would not
But
apply
why?
so
Jews
much.
have to say your what property worth instead of $1 million.
Yes, it's hilchot ona'ah, you must say.
They want to sell for $1 million. I told them they want to sell for $1 million. They agree.
Yeah, by the Shulchan Aruch says in Hilchos Ona'an that if somebody brings you merchandise and he doesn't know how much it's worth, you're not allowed to take it from beneath what the value is. You have to tell him how much it's worth.
But I asked them, they said 1 million. I volunteered. I said, how much? They said 1
No,
million.
but these places cost 1 million. If he's gonna build it, he's not gonna build it. He can sell again for someone else. It's gonna be the same thing. The guy's gonna do only one family house, but there's a potential to make 7, let's say 7 floors.
You have to tell him there's potential. If it's a yid, you have to tell him there's potential. The Shulchan Aruch writes,
Let's say he's gonna go to somebody else, sell it.
Ты хочешь миллион, что я должен сказать? 2 миллиона продать?
if you tell him it's not going to happen.
You have a chiyuv to tell him at
Look,
that moment.
I'll look into it. We'll leave it at that. I'll look into it, but simply the Shulchan Aruch says that if you bring me an item that you don't know the value of this item, and I know you don't know the value of this item, and I want to take advantage of you by buying it for less, I'm not allowed.
Sir, Usher Weiss said that
That's not what Usher Weiss meant. Usher Weiss meant in percentage wise when everybody knows what they're buying. Like a diamond or a watch. Just no, I can sell for whatever I want. But when I'm hiding information from you, you don't know what it's worth. Right? Say if you sell watches and some old babushka came to you, she doesn't know, right, how much which watch worth, and she brings you an expensive watch that's worth $100,000. She thinks it's a $500 watch. She doesn't know she finds it in her house, right? And she doesn't know what it's worth. She's telling how much it's worth. Tell how much you want. $500. You see, she doesn't know how much it's worth. Api halacha, you must tell her. Api halacha, if you don't tell her and you buy it, api halacha, if you don't tell her and you buy it and she leaves and she comes back an hour later and says, hey, my granddaughter told me it's worth $100,000. You must give it back.
But Rabbi, like you said, for example, this whole New York City, only Jewish people live. How it's a real estate person, he's gonna make money if he said to the honestly to everybody, listen, you are worth 2 million.
Yeah,
I give you.
you
For
find a
example,
deal. You find a
it's all
deal.
New York live Jewish people.
Right.
How
You
is
don't
gonna
have,
people?
no. On the regular real estate market, say for example, if I know I have a house and my house is worth $1 million.
Yes.
People, when they sell their house, they know what their house is worth
That's the only.
for what it's
That's why he
worth.
said he
But
don't
you know what? I say I want to sell it for $800,000. I could
that's
say
why he
somebody
said
else
this-
doesn't have to
this
tell me, oh, you could sell it for $1 million. The guy knows how much properties are worth, right? But if there's something hidden information here
zoning, they don't
that only I know, and I know for sure he doesn't know, and I know that he doesn't know what his property is really
Yes.
worth, api halacha,
You have to?
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. It's all Jewish people live in New York. How
just
is he gonna do it? Yeah.
Huh?
Yes,
That is it. All Jewish people live in New York. How is gonna make money? How is
Believe-
gonna make money?
So-
For
Believe in
example,
Hashem.
it's all Jewish people live.
Believe in Hashem.
Something's not right.
Yeah,
Something,
you don't-
something's
you don't-
supposed
you
to
don't-
be different, I think.
Listen, that
He
house, like you
agreed.
said, right?
Rabbi, he agreed for
If I
1
bought this
million.
house,
I know the information in the back, but he agrees. Thank you, he says to me. Here, sell 1 million.
You could tell him like this. Tell him, listen, I know you want $1 million for your house, but you should know that this house, if you just sell one family houses and you rebuild one family houses, it's worth 1 million. But this house says something called R7 zoning,
zoning.
where you could break down this house and build 7
Yes.
floors.
He doesn't know that.
And it's a very big potential for people that are investors to buy there. They might want to pay you more for your house. I'm willing to pay you $1 million right now if you want to close
So
on
you
it.
disclose indirectly, kind of.
If
You
you're
could
gonna say that,
disclose it.
she will never gonna sell
It
it.
was custom.
It's not true. That's not true. So, no, that's not true. Some people will tell you, just listen, give me $1 million and take it. Why? For them, they just want to get out of here. They have no more mortgage. They'll take the $1 million and leave. They're going to sit now, wait for a developer to come and pay them $2 million for this property. Not everybody
But
wants
for
that.
Goy, we have no obligation.
We're going to tell $1 million. Okay, no problem. Listen, tell them, listen, I'm buying this property for you, $1 million. I rely on you. You tell me it's worth $1 million, it's worth $1 million.
Rabbi, not too far to go. The photographer and exit real estate exit. They just built the building. They bought a single family home. The seller didn't know. What's his name? The guy who Aaron. He didn't know it was R7 zoning. The Jewish people bought it and now they built it.
So he can
He
take
didn't
them,
know.
He can take them to Bedin.
Build it. That's
What, he found out?
He found out later. So what you do to
So
me?
he can
says,
take
you
them to
sold it.
Bedin.
At that
5
one
years.
moment that he said, what did you do to me? He could go to Beis Din. If he says, whatever, I
7
lost it
years
already,
already.
it's gone. No.
You cannot.
By Mekach Ta'ut, by Mekach Ta'ut, for example, Mekach Ta'ut is a case like this. Say somebody gets married, right? Say somebody gets married. And say forget about marriage. Marriage is a little bit too sensitive. Let's say somebody buys something. Say I bought something from you, right? I didn't know it was defected, and then I find out it's a little bit defected, right? At that moment, I have to stop using it and go and return it. If I continue using it, I forfeit all my rights to return the item.
Because you used to.
Because once you continue using it, that means already that's it. It's over. At the moment you find out the situation would happen, you have to go back.
So the same in case, like you said, they have to pay him money.
If the guy Bechlal didn't know, and the moment he finds out, he goes right away to Beis Din, and goes right away to the Rav and takes him to Beis Din for not disclosing this information to him, he could tell him afterwards. He could tell him, I myself didn't know this information. After I bought it, I realized afterwards, what do you want from me? Maybe there would be a way to work around it. I don't know. But simply, api halacha, you have to tell the person what it's worth. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. If you come to me and you have a diamond, right, and I know you don't understand, you tell me, listen, give me $500 for this diamond. I look at it, I know it's really worth much more, and I see that you don't know what it's worth.
You have to.
Right? You have to tell him.
Nobody makes money like that because 90% business
not
by
true.
the Jewish people.
That's not
90%.
true. And what, everybody's lying to each other?
Believe me, Rabbi
It's not
John.
lying, but if the guy wants, let's say, that much, like he said, $1 million, that's it, give him $1 million, be happy, that's
Believe me,
it.
Rabbi John.
Can I just give him bonus 200? He doesn't know what is. I know I'm going to make 800 instead of 1 million. So this is for what? For nothing. This is donate for you.
Nah, you're gonna go nuts.
That's also a problem.
Would you like it if you would sit on a diamond mine and nobody would tell you and somebody come would trick it out of you? Would you like it?
But he agreed.
I'm asking, would you like it?
No.
Okay, that's your answer. Right? Would you do it to your father? Would you do it to your brother?
No.
He's not any different. That's what the Torah is telling you.
Rabbi John, people today make profit by the brother, by sister, by nephew, by everybody.
You can make profit on your family, but I'm talking about
You see, they make it.
Would you treat
By
him,
the mother,
treat him
father
like
too.
you treated your father?
Right.
That's what you're saying.
and you have to, I tell you, there's a story. I think this story was with Ruby Shron. I think so. You know what this is? Ruby Shron is an Ashkenazi guy. He's worth about $13 billion. He lives in Flatbush.
13 billion?
Yeah.
Can you introduce me to him?
He davens in Achiezer in the Nates Minyan every morning. You can go there anytime. He has a chavrutz in the morning, then he davens Nates there. He drives a simple car, lives as a simple person. Right? But he's a very big Baal Tzedakah. He owns like hundreds of millions of dollars. Right? So I think there was a story like that with him once. I think they say that his beginning success story was that something came to his hands and he could have fooled the person and he was honest and he gave it back to him or something like that. And after that he started seeing tremendous amount of success and everything. He went to Rav Moshe Feinstein, he told him, listen Rabbi, I bought the property, this and this is the case, what should I do? I think Rav Moshe Feinstein told him, give it back, make the Kiddush Hashem. And he didn't have to. He went back, he made a Kiddush Hashem. I think it says right after that he started to become very successful in business. And he came up to third. He's one of the biggest real estate. He offered $2 billion cash. He offered $2 billion for the Empire State Building, and he said they gave $50 million cash to sign the contract. Wow. They said no, but he became very successful, right? But they say his success story started from the story of Moshe Feinstein when he was honest. He didn't have to. He was honest.
We don't see that, you see? But that's how
When you're in a situation, you always have to ask yourself, what would Hashem want me to do in this situation? What would I like if somebody would do for me in this situation? That's your beginning stepstones of Hashem blessing you. When if a person thinks he's going to be a crook, he's going to be this, he's going to be this and that, at the end of the day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to make you pay for everything. At the end of the day, Hashem is going to make you pay for everything. You can't run away from it.
Тебе скажи, ты себя взяла, Джон? На себя смотри больше.
After 7 years, can they go back to the owner and say, hey, we decided to, we're successful, Baruch Hashem, we're good? Here.
If you would come to me, I would tell you if the original owner was very upset, the new people should come back and at least make something in agreement to tell them, listen, how much do you want us to give you? We want to ask you for mechila and maybe appease them. I'm not saying you have to. The case is already over,
At this
but
point, it can't take them to bedroom.
no, it's over already.
No, well, within 7 years, yes. But
No, at the moment that he finds out, he has to react. If he already gives up and he says, you know what, forget about it, I can. Not unless he tells you, listen, I never knew I could have went to Beis Din. Mechila b'ta'ut is a different story. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to. Let him go ask his rabbi in the shul. Let him, not only that, the people that already did it, they already changed the whole infrastructure. Once it's ready, it would be a very complicated case. I hope he doesn't listen to the shir. I don't want to make any problems, right? But Lamaisa, they should go and ask their Rav. Right.
This guy also, he's going to knock that down the building and then build a new one. Then it's going to be like profit, but not like
But
nowadays.
still you have to disclose.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Potential. Okay.
You have to disclose what the property is. Maybe if the property as is worth $1 million and the potential $7 million, maybe you wouldn't have to disclose it. Maybe I have to look
Yeah,
into
maybe
it.
you're
No,
not gonna
I
do it.
brought the
Maybe
case
other
where you
people
don't
not
have
gonna
to
do it.
build anything. You just buy it and you could flip it next day to Chinese people for $800,000 more. In
So
this
maybe
case, you
that'd be
have to
okay.
disclose.
Maybe. I know somebody else that came to me and said I bought a building. These people, everybody thought I was a loser. Nobody knew things I was doing. They didn't realize that the zoning in this building had so much potential.
Exactly.
So it is what it is.
You
You
have
have
this all
to.
the time.
All right, Tov, let's go on. If a person stole something, so if he has tangible items to pay from, say you come to him and says I don't have any money, so you pay him with equivalent value. If he doesn't have anything of equivalent value, you take from his properties. You take from his properties. High quality properties, the most high quality properties that he has, right? Now, if somebody stole something and he picked it up to take it, right? And somebody else came and helped him take it, the second person is patur, doesn't have to pay. Why? Because the first person could have done it himself, right? Since the first person could have done it himself and the second person is just helping him, it's really the first person that did the whole Maaseh Kinyan, the second person will not be obligated to pay, right? So for example, if somebody came and he picked something up and he was stealing it, and he just asked him, come help me pick it up, but he could have done it himself, right? So you call and you see on your camera who stole it, you go to the guy, right? The second guy who's helping him, the first guy you can't find. Tell him, pay me. Doesn't have to pay. Doesn't have to
Just
pay.
if you were helping some other guy who was stealing, you didn't know that, you have to be responsible.
We're talking about you knew. You knew that he's stealing, you helped him.
But if you don't know,
So if you don't know, well, that's the next case in the Shulchan Aruch, right? Look at this case in the Shulchan Aruch. Reuven shera'a Shimon shenichnas lebed Levi. Say Reuven saw Levi. Say Reuven saw Levi going to Reuven shera'a Shimon. Reuven saw Shimon going to Levi's house, right? Say I'm watching. Say Reuven is watching Shimon going to Levi's house. V'ganav chefetz echad, right? And then Shimon stole something and he left and he went to Reuven, right? When he went to Reuven and he gave it to him. ראתו חפץ על ראובן והחזרו לשמעון אין לוי יכול להוציאו ממנו בדין. דווקא שמעון יש שום טענה נגד לוי, right? So if I'm watching you go into somebody's house and steal something and then afterwards you come out, you say, listen, can I leave this in your house? I'm going to be back tomorrow and take it from you. You leave it by me, you come back the next day and you take it from me, right? And then the next day you come back, you take it from me, the person that you stole it from comes to me and says, why did you give it to him? He stole it from me, right? So it depends. Am I obligated to pay or not?
but you saw he took it from his home.
So it really depends. If I tell you, listen, Shimon told me that you stole from him and he's coming to take back from you as a form of payment. I don't know what's going on between both of you. He told me that he's just stealing something back that you stole from him. He asked me to watch it. I don't want to get involved. I gave it back to who gave it to me. If I'm going to give it back to you, then he's going to come to me and take money from me and tell me that I owe him money. I don't need to put myself at risk in order to get involved to fix your situation. But if I know that Reuven, who's stealing from Shimon, right? I'm sorry. If I know that if I know that Shimon that's stealing from Levi has nothing to do with Levi, he's just clearly stealing. I'm watching somebody clearly steal something. I see him stealing. He goes into the store, he steals something, he comes to me and says, here, hold on to this, I'm going to come back and pick it up tomorrow. I see him stealing. I put it in my store. The next day he comes back and he takes it to me and he's gone. And then on the camera is caught that the guy left it by me, I gave it back to the guy. Since I knew that he's stealing, at that moment when I have it, this is considered avedah. I have an obligation to return it to the owner. Now that I gave it to him, I'm considered the thief and I'm fully responsible to pay you. Even though I don't have the item, the guy who took it is gone. He's out of the picture, but I know it was stolen. Why didn't I give it back? Right? I must pay you for the item. I am fully responsible.
You're an accomplice.
Accomplice. I'm worse than accomplice. I'm the actual thief. I have the thievery in my hand. The guy's not here. I have an obligation to return it to you. Why didn't I return it to you? If you come and tell me, listen, Levi stole from me, I took this back as a form of payment, hold on to it for me. Then I don't have to give it back. Why? Because I could say, listen, I don't want to get involved. If I'm going to give it back to you, tomorrow he's going to say that it really belonged to me. He owed me money. Now I'm going to owe him money. He's going to come steal something from me. I don't have to put my own money at risk to put myself in the situation. But if I know for sure, that's a problem.
But if it's risky for your life,
What's risky for me?
for example, like we watch for the thief.
Yeah.
Thief is coming, beat you or do something.
You don't, and the thief come put something by you, and no, if it's really a life in that situation, it's already a different situation. Maybe there you would not have to put yourself in the risk. Maybe you could probably just give it back to the guy and say, listen, I don't have anything to do with it. You could call the cops, tell them, listen, this thief left it by me, wants to come pick it up tomorrow. He's gonna come, I'm gonna give it to him, I don't have anything to do with anything. Right? Maybe that you could set it up in a way that he's not gonna know that you set it up. Right? But if the person is your friend, and you know he stole something and he's asking you to watch it for him, at that moment you become fully responsible for it. If you give it back to him and you don't give it back to the owner, and the owner finds out, you have to pay 100%. You cannot tell the owner, I don't have anything, go to the guy. The owner could say, I'm not going to the guy, you're the thief, I'm going to you. You're obligated to pay.
Only if the owner finds out, you have a chiyuv to return it.
You have a chiyuv to pay for it even if the owner doesn't find out. If you want to do tshuva, you have to come to the owner and tell him that you stole it. We're just telling you to what extent the owner can collect from you. You are...
It's really, you're responsible more than that thief.
Yes, it's considered Hashavat Avidan, right? Yeah, you're considered an Avidan. It's considered like the person who stole from, now it's by me, it's considered like a lost item because it's not the thief does not, it's not his, it's the person it belongs to. Now it's in my hands, I have an obligation to return it because it's considered like a lost item. I took this lost item, I gave it to the thief. Well, I give it. You have to return it to the person. You have to pay full price. You're not allowed. Listen to this next case. This next case in the Shulchan Aruch is mind-boggling. Right? Shulchan Aruch says, Ruvain tava leShimon shenichlas lechedro v'ganav sefarav v'yotziam reshuto. Right? Say, Ruvain came to Shimon and he said, listen, I saw, right? I had two witnesses say that you came to my property last night and you stole a lot of my antiques. Give it back to me. Right? So the two witnesses, there's no witnesses. Reuven came to Shimon, said that this is what happened, I know that you did it, right? Veshiv Shimon, what did Shimon say? Emet haya, shotzitem, say yes, I really did take it, I am the thief, I stole it, right? I am the thief, I stole it. Aval kach haya ma'aseh. He said, you got the whole story wrong, right? I'm telling you that I took it, you're right, I went in, I took it out of your house, but you have the whole story wrong. There's a bigger picture here of why I went to your house and I took it. Right? He says, Shibikshani kirovatayim. He says, my relative, who happens to be your daughter-in-law, which is my cousin, came to me. Right? She asked me, she said, I have a whole bunch of antiques in my father-in-law's house. I can't get it out. Can you come help me take it all out? Right? So she couldn't pick it up. She said, I didn't know what's going on. Right? I didn't know what's going on. I didn't know it belongs to you, belongs to her. She asked me to come help her. I came help her, right? V'gam lo igbatim. Also, right? I'm not the one who actually picked it up and made the kinyan, like we said earlier on. The one who picks it up is the one who makes the kinyan. I'm not the one who picked it up and made the kinyan. I didn't do it, right? Achik biyatam. She's the one who made the kinyan. She's the one who kept picking everything up, made the kinyan, and then gave it to me and said, okay, bring it into the car. Right? But without him, she wouldn't be able to do anything. Because she can maybe just pick it up like this to make the kinyan and give it to him, but she would never be able to carry everything out. So without him, she wouldn't be able to do anything. She needed him. But he's claiming that he doesn't know what's going on in the situation. She asked to come to her father-in-law's house and take everything out. The father-in-law coming and now telling me that you guys robbed me. Right? But he's coming and claiming, how am I supposed to know? Chayav, right? Shimon chayav nachziram. The guy who helped is obligated full payment to the guy. Why? What business do you have coming into my house, emptying out my house? Did anybody give you permission to come into my house and empty out all these antiques in my house?
Yes, she did.
Who is she?
She's his daughter.
Daughter-in-law. She lives here? No.
In part of your story, does she live there?
No.
Okay, so then that's different. If she doesn't live there, it's different.
It's not, even if she lived there, it's not hers. This is my private office. If she's coming and telling you, help me empty out my office, you have to think to yourself, what's going on? This is not hers, this is not mine. I mean, we should ask him, right?
Are you saying if
granting. If somebody asked me to come and empty all these books, I would say that doesn't seem right. 1 or 2 items, it's heavy.
Because you have to assess the situation. If she tells you, my father-in-law asked me to help me,
So
right?
what's her character? Is she shomer?
She didn't say anything. She just said, come and help me.
You don't know her from a hole in the wall,
She's related to you. She's your cousin.
but you know her.
You know her. She's your cousin.
But you know her. Did you do something with her in the past?
You could know whoever you want. You don't know the situation. You don't. Maybe she got tight and she decided her father-in-law to
I'll tell
do
you what,
something.
if you asked me to do something, I probably wouldn't question it.
Right.
Okay, that's my point. Because
I understand what you're saying. There is true. No, that is
has
true.
lack of integrity and has lied before.
That's
and-
true. You're 100% right. The Shulchan Aruch says that from his situation, this person is only chayav because it was recognizable in the situation that something was wrong. You're right. If I completely, we'll see in the Shulchan Aruch, he differentiates like you're saying. What was this person supposed to assume? What information was he given? What was he doing? Right? V'nikar hadavar shekven Yisrael ligzol lecha miyan. Right? Right? So it's also evident from the situation. He had that feel, he understood that she's stealing from her father-in-law's house. Right? But she's related, so he helped her. He wasn't sure, but he had that feel that she was stealing. And you got involved and you did it. Right? But he's going to say she's the one who picked it up. She's the one who made the kinyan. However, right? You're also saying that it was heavy. She couldn't do it on her own. Since she couldn't do it on her own, you're the one who did it. It's considered as if you did it and you did the agba'am. And therefore, so the person that was told from, he can either come to his daughter-in-law, say pay me back because everything's by her, but say he can't get it out of her, right? Say she's a little bit nuts, she said, you come to me, I'll kill you, right? Whatever the situation is. He can't get it out of her for whatever technical reason there is. The person who helped her, he could come to him and say, you obligated to pay me full payment and you go deal with her whatever you want. You knew that something was wrong. You had no right to come into my house and do it. And therefore he's obligated. See, being accomplice is also a big... Also, next case, say if you know somebody that stole something, right? He stole something, a whole bunch of items, but he needed to leave the city. So what did he do? He hid it, right? He hid it somewhere. He left it somewhere. He said, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna get it another time. Right? So I mean, so he put it somewhere. He couldn't take it with him when he was traveling. It was a little bit too suspicious, so he hid it somewhere. He went to a different city. He called one of his friends and said, listen, I have some stuff over there I stole over there, this person, I have $200,000 worth of merchandise, do me a favor, take it, send it up, drive it up over here, give it to me, and I'll pay you.
What
Right?
What if he does not tell him that he stole it? It's mine.
That's the next case. You come into the Shiloh whether shliach ledavar avir or not. That's the machlokes for the one who has to pay over there. Right? It's a machlokes.
So then this case, what?
It would probably be the same situation where you have to assess the situation. If a billionaire comes and says, move $200,000 for me from left to right, it would not be so suspicious.
You would be pater, yes, that's true. Right? No, here we're talking about you know that he stole it. You're his friend, you know that he stole it. He's telling you, listen, I stole $300,000 worth of merchandise, I couldn't take it out. I hid it over here, put it in your car, drive it up to me. Right? Drive it up to where I am. I can't get it, I need you to get it for me.
Same like the first situation.
And I'll pay for it.
Correct.
He's an accomplice.
Correct.
He has an
Hashliach chayav leshalem. That he's the ganav. Since he knew that it was stolen merchandise, the moment they came into his hands, he had an obligation to return it. You went and you gave it to the guy, you obligated to pay for everything.
If you say I don't want to be involved, but you still know where it is and that it's stolen, what's your obligation?
Hashavat avidah, you're obligated to tell the person.
So the moment that you are revealed the truth,
You're obligated to
obligated
return.
whether you're in possession or not.
Correct. Hashavat
Let's say from a
avidah.
bank. Still have to go.
What?
Still have to go to a bank and tell them that he stole the money. That's where it is.
No, if they're going, you don't have to.
Oops.
Hashavat avidah doesn't apply to.
Okay. Every there's a Jew in every shareholder.
So then you would really have to see if there's a real loss to them. They generally don't get lost because they get.
Insurance.
Yeah.
So in the event of bank fraud and it was insurance.
So not necessarily insurance. It's more than that. It's not. You have to if you know that there is a share there of, and you have to know how much of a percentage. It gets more complicated with shares,
It's still
right?
not, even if it's goy and it's still dishonest. It's still dishonest.
There's no mitzvah of hashavat avidah by a goy. This is a din in hashavat avidah.
Wow. Seems harsh.
That's the halacha.
But
Tov.
if
What?
there's no obligation. We're supposed to be a light to the world.
If there's a Kiddush Hashem, there's an obligation. If there's a Chil Hashem, there's an obligation. But if not, then no. If there's a Kiddush Hashem, there is. But the din of Hashavat Avidah doesn't apply.